is all I'm going to take off. Okay. Thank you again, everyone, for coming. When I was trying to think about which chapter to read today, I had a really hard time. I'd go through one chapter and I'd be like, ooh, that's too personal. And then I'd look through another one and that one was personal too. And then I realized I should have thought about that before I published a book. So, chronology wins, and I'm going to start with the beginning chapter. And please feel free to use the washroom or get a drink or do whatever you want. And you're welcome to step out too if this is not your jam. Totally get that. Okay, chapter 1. A woman who loves children but doesn't want children. 2009, Gainesville, Florida. You have to make a birth plan, I tell my friend Sona, who is bursting with pregnancy. What I don't say is how terrified I am about the preparation, anticipation, contractions, positioning, dilation, breathing, the breathing, pushing, crowning, pushing the head, dear God, the head, in my friend's vagina. I don't tell her I'm worried I'll be the worst partner in birth partner history. Sona, I'm pretty sure you have to make a birth plan so everyone knows your preferences, you know what to do. I guess if you're so out of it, you can't decide what you want in the moment. My God, I'm terrible at this. In all my reading about the labor and delivery process, I clearly haven't retained much, but at least I have a plan. My plan is to approach my friend's due date with the attention and preparation of a doctoral level comprehensive exam. I am going to study up on birth, read pamphlets, take notes, commit facts to memory, hope for the best, and be prepared for the worst. In contrast, Sona is unhurried and unworried. Her days are filled with learning, studying, seeing patients. She has plenty to do. The time for birth plans will come when she finally has time to think about them. I met Sona in 2007 when I was a PhD student and she was pursuing a postdoc fellowship at the University of Florida. We each took non-traditional paths to get to the moment when she is about to have a baby and I am about to help her. We are a little, or a lot, older than most of the students in our cohort at this point in life. Sona's path included a career change to become a doctor, then years of in vitro fertilization because she is single and wants to be a mother and nothing is going to stop her. My non-traditional path began in Ontario, Canada, where I am from. In 1991, during my first year of university, I dropped my English major and switched to anthropology, then dropped out of school, then came back, then dropped out of anthropology, then graduated with a 3-year hodgepodge degree in general arts. Granted, when the university takes pity on you and needs you to graduate already. I left Ontario in 1995 to teach English in Taiwan. Over the course of 5 years in Southeast Asia, I met my first Florida boyfriend, not Ted. Broke up with him, met my second Florida boyfriend, Ted. No relation to the first, except they've been friends since preschool. Can you imagine if they'd been friends since birth? Florida, it's a small world after all. In 2000, Ted and I left Taiwan and traveled to China, where we broke up. He went home to Florida, I stayed to study Chinese. I left China to study English again, this time at a different university in Ontario. It was 2001. After one semester, Ted and I got back together. So I moved south to attend the University of Florida, where they promptly rejected my 3-year hodgepodge general arts degree. In 2002, I married Ted and finally got that 4-year bachelor's degree in English in 1.5 years with credit transfer. Started and finished a master's degree in speech-language pathology, and now it's 2009 and I'm working on my PhD. When Sona asked me to be her birth partner, I was both honored and anxious, not necessarily in that order. I haven't been around many babies, haven't had many pregnant friends, and certainly haven't been asked to help with the momentous miracle of birth. I am a birth partner virgin. I have no role models or aspirational guides, just actors I've seen on the big or little screen, the men, always the men it seems, holding a hand, helping with breathing, wiping sweat, offering words, getting yelled at, fainting, remaining by their partner's side. My understanding of the birth process is drawn from fiction, the whole shebang compressed to a few minutes in a movie or seconds of a TV episode, the parameters of entertainment, a director's gamble on the audience's tolerance for birth, a prolonged grunt, a final push, a spank, and a cry, tears of joy, the cherubic, goop-free, swaddled-up baby placed in the mother's arms, the right amount of dewy wisps of hair framing her forehead, her touch of makeup face natural, a little mascara highlighting smiling eyes, a splash of color on parting lips as she leans in for that first sweet kiss set gently on her newborn's crown. I know that's not the way it works. Most labors are laborious, lasting hours and hours, and though Sona will do all the work, I worry about my ability to support her for the length of time it takes to birth a baby. What if I fall asleep, or she gets tired of me, or what if I miscount the contractions or lack enough fun distractions between them? What if I fumble my phrases and coach her to breathe wrong or not enough? And if she decides to give birth in the tub, am I to climb in with her? What if she labors on the exercise ball and I let go? What if she falls and I'm responsible? Other aspects of birth I've not seen but have heard are that sometimes with labor comes poop, and that super fresh babies are covered in goop, and the shape of their head can be a wee bit birth canal-y. All of that is natural, see, and doesn't worry me. What I'm concerned with is my propensity to blurt the wrong thing, like, for a sec there, I thought you were having twins, but now I realize you've shat yourself. Or that my first impression of Sonia's baby boy will be, wow, he's really wet. Or, yep, he's got a vaginal birth canal head, instead of all the beautiful affirmational words meant to be said on such a momentous occasion. The prenatal classes we signed up for did little to placate my angst. The expecting participants were what I expected. The pregnant people were women, and their partners were mostly men. I didn't know where I fit in. They assumed Sona and I were together, like in a committed relationship sort of way. Nope, I wanted to say, I'm just the sperm donor. Or, actually, I'm the pregnant one, she's just eating for me too. Or, we just met, but this is a hell of a first date. I expected the instructor would make us role play supported squatting and choo-choo train breathing straight away. I'd been nervous about performing in front of a room full of partnered pregnant people. Instead, we spent most of the session touring the hospital's labor and delivery wing. So we're not gonna role play and choo-choo train breathe? I asked the instructor, who took a beat, figuring out my meaning. Oh, we'll cover that in the later classes, she said, to my relief. But we never made it to the later classes due to scheduling conflicts and Sona's apparent confidence in her ability to birth and my ability to birth partner. I now stare with exasperation at the enormousness of Sona's belly. How is she so impossibly calm? It's almost go time and I do not feel ready. Granted, I'm not the one having a baby, but as Sona's designated birth driver, I'm doing everything in my power to be anxious enough for both of us. Evidently, I'm having feelings about my birth partner position, and I wonder if underlying my perceived underqualification is a sense of inadequacy, of not being woman enough. Addressing the elephant in my womb, I have a history of not wanting children, ever since I was a kid. Of course, I never thought I'd get married either, and I did. Now I'm in a solid, loving relationship with Ted, a man who'd make a terrific dad, but I'm still not jumping on that baby wagon. It might appear that our family startup is postponed because we both went back to school in our late 20s. So we've neither the headspace nor the budget to support having kids, but truthfully, I love what we have without adding one person more. And I love children, love being around them, being in their world, getting on their level, love my friends' kids and my cousins, my nephews and nieces. I just never wanted children of my own. Moreover, my body doesn't seem to want children. Any monthly mothering potential is quashed by prolonged and painful menstrual cycles, blinding migraines, and hormone shifts that are torture for me and anyone in my vicinity. Ovulation's not all it's cracked up to be. One day is what I get, one fucking day to feel supreme. I'd give it up if I knew how for 1 month per year of feeling even, sustained, unfluctuating. But I don't talk about this. Having been raised in a girl culture where periods are euphemized and pain is a given, and everyone's biological clock is ticking, it seems, except mine. Then something happened in 2006, a switch, a flicker, a body feeling, a clock that changed its mind and my experience, the realization I did want children, after all, but only when fertilized egg first cleaved, then formed, 1 cell, 2 cell, 3 cell, 4, in half division, blastocission, burrowed through fallopian tube, excavated endometrium till embryo rested in embryo's home, and tissue endometrial made space for embryo to grow. That's when I wanted kids, you know, when I was already pregnant, when I was so exhausted with hormones that I could nap in the passenger seat of a car, in the parking lot of a store, a smile curving relief across my face that didn't have to face anything more in those 15 minutes than rest. Not because my work, my studies, my interactions with the world fell away, but because they were conquered by the confidence that I, without even trying, was growing everything that mattered. Nothing could have stopped the stillness I had when my body was making a body. That's when I wanted kids for sure. The moment I, who have never owned a membership to a gym or a place where you have to dress to fit in, became an elite member of the pregnancy club. The ticket for entry beyond vaginal curtains just past the cervix. A lottery's chance of winning, and we won when we weren't even trying to win. Not trying, not because we counted days, given our all-scheduled monthly booty calls, then gave up in the way some do, fuck the vitamins, screw sobriety, indulge in one night away from control. Not trying, not like that, but not trying out of not wanting to enough. You see, that feeling of not knowing what was possible, that sense of not wanting what was an endless sky I could float away to. And then that endless sky, it opened more, with more of me and us than ever before, because there was you blooming in me from crown to rump, my sweetest, sweet, sweet pea. Your father and me, so proud of you, so proud of us. Look what we grew. And everywhere we'd look, we'd see so many others, just like me, joined the club of pregnancy. 2006, Gainesville, Florida. Our first unplanned pregnancy ended in miscarriage. The switch that turned me onto motherhood switched off when the hormones drained from my system. But that didn't stop us from trying to conceive over the next year and a half. It was expected. A family member, known for brash assertiveness, said what everyone else was thinking: when are you finally gonna grow up and have children? Even the staff at the Student Medical Center had scared me into believing I was prioritizing my PhD program over pregnancy. They scolded. No time is a good time to get pregnant. No time is a better time than the present. You're only getting older, and if you don't try now, you'll never know if you're infertile. I was 34. Tick, tick. 2008, Gainesville, Florida. We did try to get pregnant for a while, but not that hard on account of my history of not wanting kids. And we did indeed discover I was infertile. In addition to my part-time excruciating period pain, my uterus was full-time full of fibroids and endometriosis, and my cervix was curved in a way that said, "Keep out, squirmy sperm." I felt relieved to have a diagnosis of infertility and guilt over my relief. Guilt for denying my husband a chance to be a father. Guilt that I did this to me. Years of clenching my stomach, my gut punch, bulimic desire to be thin. I made my womb inhospitable. I made the pain that can't sustain a life. But there was hope. I was infertile and in pain, but not incurable. Turns out I was an excellent candidate for surgery. I had student health insurance. A confident surgeon eager to cut, flexibility in my schedule, a husband who could help me with my recovery, and most of all, I had a strong desire to be pain-free. No time is a good time to have pain. No time is a better time than the present to remove it. I was only getting older, and if I didn't have surgery now, I'd never know what it was like to live my life without pain. I was 36. Tick, tick. My surgery date was scheduled for the day after my PhD comprehensive exams, the culmination of 2 years of learning. I know, right? If I passed, not only would I move on to the dissertation phase of my program, I'd be rewarded with a surgery that would surely make a pain-free woman out of me. Boing. If I failed, the surgery would offer me hours of general anesthesia and weeks of recovery, enough time to distance myself from disappointment and regroup. During the pre-op visit, Dr. Laparotomy, not his real name, explained to us what a laparotomy was. He'd open a horizontal cut on my lower abdomen, remove the fibroids, straighten the cervix, cauterize the endometriosis, and do anything else to my lady parts that needed doing. In Dr. Laparotomy's next statements, he presumed there'd be a post-surgery frenzied pursuit of fertility, and he called me an old-ass lady. Not in those exact words. He said that after I healed, I should get pregnant as soon as possible since I was already in the geriatric stage of fertility. Then when I had a baby, not if, I'd have it by cesarean section, my laparotomy scar essentially acting like a zipper. They'd unzip me along the scar line and remove the baby I definitely would have grown inside me. Finally, and Dr. Laparotomy was perfectly clear on this, before zipping me up again, they would absolutely, positively remove my uterus, take out the baby and the bathtub, in other words. When I asked why they'd need to remove it, he simply said, because it's a mess. There was a matter-of-factness to his statements and expectation of mothering. I don't blame him for his bluntness. Most people he sees in his fertility clinic are of the baby-curious sort. I'll admit I too was curious. Could the surgery cure me of not wanting children? After the zipper talk, Dr. Laparotomy segued into in vitro fertilization, just in case. He pushed some literature our way, a glossy booklet, cardstock inserts, an invitation to parenthood. He explained the steps, but I already knew about the process firsthand. I'd met Sona by then, my courageous friend, full on in the throes of in vitro and doing it alone. I witnessed her determination, her struggle through multiple rounds of hormones and extractions and waiting and thinking, this is the one, and the loss. So much loss she endured in wanting a baby. Even though I'd experienced pregnancy and the intensity of that same longing, it wasn't enough to sustain the want in me when I wasn't pregnant. I knew if we were to conceive, it would have to happen without advanced planning from me. No, thank you, I said to the surgeon. If we can't get pregnant on our own, we'll adopt. The problem with this statement was that I didn't fully believe it. I had no desire to parent, not biologically, not maternally, not at all. But the need to appease was strong, so I swapped out one assumed norm for another. Either way, I'd be expected to mother. The laparotomy surgery went off without a hitch. The recovery, however, was surprisingly challenging. The pain, the no lifting of heavy things, the difficulty moving my body. And I didn't even have a baby to look after. I marveled at the strength of mothers. How on earth did someone recover from a C-section and take care of a newborn? My scars healed. We tried again. We didn't get pregnant. We didn't adopt. 2009, Gainesville, Florida. Sona's plan, much to my relief, is to have an induced labor. As such, my first duty as birth partner comes not with a call in the night to retrieve a go bag and grab a contracting Sona, but as a phone conversation with a scheduled date and time. I meet Sona in labor and delivery. I bring snacks and activities and pretend she's having a hospital room picnic, not a baby I'll have to support before it arrives. We play some cards, I crack some jokes. I try to keep it light. I channel my anxiety into sneaking peeks at my birth partner's study notes, hoping they'll make me feel prepared for this moment. They don't. What are those? Sona asks, pointing to the papers in my hand. I show her a kaleidoscope of pen scratchings and doodles in color-coded highlighter, my brain's way of learning the steps for birthing a baby. The nurse comes in with a pill meant to bring on labor. The positioning of the pill underneath Sona's cervix provokes Sona to moan in anguish and me to dread what's to come. If it's that painful when a pill goes in, it's gonna hurt so much more when a baby comes out. I take deep breaths and inwardly chant, I am not ready. I'm not ready to be the strong, supportive one for someone else's pain. In the next hour, I'm on fire with anticipation, zinging with nerves, waiting for the contractions to hit, while Sona, shockingly, is entirely at ease. More hours pass, and there's still no ripening of the cervix, no beginning of labor. I relax until the nurse pops in to pop another pill into Sona. Sona moans, and I inwardly freak out again. Then, after some time, Sona's fine. More than fine, she's smiley and a little bit loopy and giddy, whatever she is, she's not afraid. I can't relate. I understand what it's like to have pain. I guess what I don't understand, what I can't imagine, is having pain knowing something good will come from it. But then I don't have to imagine this. I'm here with my friend who is having a baby. I feel Sona's calm, her knowing that every moment is a celebration of being closer to what she's wanted for so long, and I lose myself in showing up for her. My fear morphs into thrill. Bring it on. Bring on those contractions, Sona, so I can hold your hand and breathe with you and tell you everything will be okay. Because at the end of this, you'll have a baby and I'll have had the experience of a lifetime. So yeah, those contractions, they never come. The nurse tells us to go home and wait until labor begins. No, Sona responds, I am not leaving this hospital without a baby. I nearly faint from relief as they pencil her in for an afternoon cesarean. A few hours later, I'm nestling a bundle of baby and blankets. This precious human being plucked clean from Sona's womb. Well, not exactly plucked clean, but they did wipe him down before handing him to me. And for all intents and purposes, he's goop-free. I'm the first non-hospital person to hold him. I think, oh no, you've made a mistake. I'm not the parent. I'm not anybody. But I am someone. I'm a woman who loves children, who doesn't want children, who doesn't have to have children, who doesn't have to miss out on the miracle of birth because I've just gone through it with a friend. I look at Sona's baby boy cradled in my arms and I'm truly overcome. Sona, he's not, I pause, remembering to choose my words carefully. Like his head's not squished, you know? And then I can't stop myself from blurting out, oh, Sona, he's so beautiful.